Yo, welcome to the Nightly Strange.
Thanks, God.
Welcome to Nightly Strange, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, D-Mac Uno. Special guest in the building, Darrell Dom. How you doing, man? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Just out here in Florida doing, I'm at an investment podcast not investment podcast. I do an investment podcast, but I'm at a conference that I go to yearly down here in Boca Raton, Florida. And so it's always a good event and everything. I was actually just on this cruise with the exhibitors. So these are like the CEOs of like the publicly traded companies. They what they do is they buy the slots at this conference and they get like a special cruise. So I was on this cruise with them. So yeah, everybody's kicking it. It's like the last night, and then tomorrow's the last day, and then flying back to Bram.
Yeah, man. Like, so you sent me your podcast. So I'm like, what is this? And I started clicking through it and watching the stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is yours. Yeah, this is your podcast. Yeah, and I like the setup too, man, with the chairs, 2 lights. Really, I was like, damn, I gotta step my game up. It's just my bar back there.
Well, that's yeah, we'll definitely get more into that. I don't know if you want to start there, but I can speak a little bit to that. So that's a podcast that I don't own the podcast, but I'm a contractor through the podcast. And so a good friend of mine, he owns it. He's up in Vancouver, Canada. And so all I do is hit record, and we got like a whole like team that does all the editing, the thumbnails, all of that stuff. So the video you seen was when I went up there for our in-studio interview. So they set up all the lighting, They got all the cameras, multiple photographers, all that stuff. So they do all the setup. And so it's like somebody that does it for that business that's setting it up. So I did not set it up.
Yeah, that was a nice setup though. That was a nice setup. No, we're gonna come back to that. We're gonna come back to that. Let me ask, so it's been a while. I mean, last time I interviewed you, it was for Kitsap County Uncut. So
yeah,
that was a good 10 years ago, man. 10 years ago. And at the time, your name was Smiley D.
Yeah.
So what made you change your name to your real name?
Yeah, so a couple things was going on. So one, I got the name Smiley D through a good friend of mine, I'm still good friends with today. His dad used to always be clowning. I used to always be smiling, just cheesing. And he was like, why are you always smiling so much? And then he was like, I'm going to call you Smiley. So then once I started rapping with my guy, Leon, he was like, man, you should name it Smiley D. So then I started moving with that name for a long time, and then when I moved back to Oklahoma City, I went by Smiley. Even when I was living in the street life, I was, doing my thing in there. People called me Smiley. Everybody known me as Smiley. And so then when I came back, even when I was doing Christian rap, which I still do a form of Christian rap, I just kind of frame it differently. But I was still going by Smiley D. So it went from like childhood to the streets, street rapper, and then even as a gospel rapper, So, when I was promoting a lot of my music to a lot of the kids locally, they all knew me as Smiley D. So some of them still call me Smiley. So
yeah. We was at you performed with Jameer at that music thing downtown, and Jay Nichelle, shout out Jay Nichelle and Jameer. She got on there. She like Smiley D fam. Like,
yeah, man. Like, and I'm still like. I still respond to the name, you know what I mean? Like people call me Smiley, I still respond. It's just, the way I market it. But so in 2019, I started filming a music video for a big, Christian hip hop artist. And he was from the street, so I related to his music and stuff. He was from St. Louis, and so he came out to Seattle. I filmed a video for him. And so like, then he was open to like mentoring me. And for me, it was like, Christian rap can be like just kind of in this little box and have its own little community. And then it can be a lot of gatekeeping and stuff. And so you don't have as much as like the broader, support from everybody. I mean, I think that's improving a lot more as people I think people are more looking for more messages with substance. And so, but, that's pretty much what it was. So when I met him, and he wanted to he decided to mentor me, and like I was doing some video work for him with his track. So that was, his name was Thizzle. I have a song with him called No Cap. And so, and he was talking to me. I had just like was about to put out a project, and he was like, "Man, you ever thought about changing your name?" And so I was like, "No, I haven't. You know, I got a project about to come out. Like, I'm not trying to change my name." And then he talked about like, you know, it being part of like my evolution, you know, as an artist, and like, he's like, "Man, you know, you're gonna be older doing music. They're gonna be calling you Smiley." And I was kind of thinking about it, like, do I want to be called Smiley my whole life? You know what I mean? And so like people still do it, right? And then even with the music videos I was putting out, like I had started doing music videos back in 2018 because, you know, when I would go to pay for a video, it was expensive, and I was like, man, you know, I can't keep affording like, you know, $500 videos, you know, $1,000, $1,500 videos, whatever. And so I started doing my own, and my videos were straight trash, bro. Like they was trash when I first started. I thought they was dope, but they was trash. And so I put out quite a few songs, even like that. And then as I got better with videography, like the videography got better again over time. But the thing was like I had so much inconsistent quality under Smiley D. You know, I went from, you know, doing the gangster street rap where I was rapping with like Filthy Rich. I got a song with T Nutty. I was really connected with these folks in the Bay Area, and then even switching over to gospel and stuff. And then, but my quality as far as like my songs and like how I record my songs, to like the visual quality and all of that, the videos and stuff. And I was just like, yeah, it's all inconsistent. And I would like to start new and start building up higher quality content under, you know, my name. And so if someone were to like search for my name, they would see the good stuff, and or they could run into like the horrible videos. And I just did not want like anyone to search, you know, my name and then run into something that's like, I'm like, I probably just need to take that video down. And so it was like it's kind of like the continuity of it as well. And so yeah, that was you know, why I ended up changing it.
Yeah, no, I feel that. You know, like my rap name was Macadoja 1 for years. That's what I started off as. And, you know, then I got older and I went to Seattle, and I was like, man, I don't really want to be using this 90s hip hop name I've had since I was, you know, 13 years old. And so I just shortened it to D-Mac Uno. But I get it. You know what I'm saying? I made crappy videos too, man. We had to do what we had to do. Because like you said, I'm not paying nobody $500, $1,000 for a video, and you ain't even like bring my visual alive. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you waiting for somebody else. It was a lot. That's why I started making beats too. And I think that's what's missing a lot with these new artists, right? They don't really have to work to be an artist, you know, like at all.
We had to be like Prince. We had to play the drum, guitar. You know what I'm saying? We had to film our own videos. You know, make our own beats. Like
make it. Yeah, it had to do it all, bro. Like all that stuff. And I used to have songs, and I'd be rapping. I'm like, yeah, I'm killing it, get it going, but I'm killing it. You know what I'm saying? Like the volume's all messed up, but you know what I'm saying? It was work. And so I think that's why you still see a lot of older artists still kind of going. And you said you're dropping some music, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm working on some music now. Like I'm still in the writing phase, but I'm gonna be scheduling some studio time here in the next week or so to start recording. And then I have some unreleased tracks that I'm like, I need to release them. So I just need to get the artwork done and kind of just start building some momentum and promoting those. And I'm also gonna do some video content for a couple of unreleased tracks that I've had in the vault for about, you know, a year or so.
Yeah, you've been pretty successful. I mean, as far as it goes to like a Kitsap County rapper out here, you've been pretty successful. Like, you have a lot of listeners on your Spotify. Your songs do really well. Your videos have always done well. What do you attribute that to?
Yeah, I think the biggest things are just, you know, one, like being approachable and accessible to like the fans. That's like one thing where, you know, people would message me. It started getting to me later on when I was like, man, I don't want to talk about like my rap career every time I see you. You know what I mean? But you know, but I still remain like accessible and was willing to engage with people in the approachable. And so, you know, I used to like really live and breathe this rap thing. Like I made a lot of, you know, sacrifices. There was times where, you know, like I'm spending a lot of my money to get, you know, get these projects off the ground and stuff. Like times where, you know, I could have been investing that money in my kid's stock account. You know what I mean? And I'm like, hey, I need to do this. Which I had a higher, you know, purpose for doing it. Like I've never obviously everybody wants fans, but I wasn't really looking for the success like that. The success for me was like if somebody hears a message and it impacts them, you know, in a positive way, then that was a success for me. So even if it was one person, right? But, you know, I did have multiple people, and some people still go back and listen to those Smiley D songs. And so, and they tell me like, hey, this song helped me got me through this tough time, blah, blah, blah. And they still listen to it. And so I'm like, man, I'm glad it's still serving its purpose. So that was always like the success for me. But, you know, like being approachable, being accessible, I was doing a lot of shows. You know, I was, you know, performing at schools. I was at block parties. I was in churches. You know, I've done the clubs. I was at the Charleston. Like, you know, I was performing everywhere. And so I think I did have like a bigger pool of places to perform because I, you know, I did more clean, you know, conscious, faith-based music, right? And so I had songs to perform. Like the schools would be like, hey, we want you to perform at our assembly. And you know, I remember doing that at, I think, one of the Martin Luther King assemblies with elementary school, you know, and so I had songs that I could perform in those types of environments. So that was kind of part of it. I was doing a lot of, you know, obviously music videos, you know, I started doing shorts, you know, I was doing photos with captions. I was just trying to be more visible because they say content is king for a reason. And so I was trying to be more visible. I was doing contests. Like I started doing contests where fans could win like an Amazon gift card.
Yeah.
They could win a pair of AirPods. Like I've reached in my pocket like, hey, I'm gonna buy a pair of AirPods. If you give me your contact information and stuff and participate, then you could win these AirPods. And so I was even doing stuff like that where I was giving back in that way, which was actually yielded some good results, because the one thing that I realized was that when I was trying to build and cultivate my fan base, the algorithms weren't showing my stuff to people who were supported my music over years. And these are like Facebook algorithms.
Yeah.
So I have somebody who supported, been to a concert years ago, you know, have listened to my music and such, and then I see them years later and they're like, hey, did you stop doing music or what? You know, and I'm like, no, I didn't stop doing music. And then, but I've been posting very consistently. And so like, I noticed like it wasn't getting to my fans. And so the method that I kind of changed was, I was like, okay, this is similar. Social media is similar to like building your house on somebody else's land. Like they can change the rules. They can, you know, decide whether to show your stuff to someone or not, you know, things of that nature. You know, they can censor you, you know, all of that. So I started going to like emails, you know, and things like that. So I was doing email communications. I was sending emails out to folks just so I could have a direct line of communication if social media wasn't showing my stuff to them. So, you know, I was doing a lot of stuff to like really build it up and everything. And then, you know, I kind of had a slowdown over the last 2 years. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I respect that too, because I'm the same way when I was doing music, right? I'm like, what are different ways that I can promote what I'm doing to get my music out there? Because, you know, you can try to do what everyone else is doing, but you're just going to get lost in the sauce. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So for me, I remember one time I was like posting, like I did like a whole art thing where I would like take pictures of the sky, design it a certain color, put the album name on there, and then put a song behind it and just keep posting that and posting different ones. Mm-hmm. And so, do you feel like you're with the music, how do you feel about the new generation out here doing music?
New generation, Kitsap, Bremerton.
Yeah.
I would say, you know, I've known a lot of these artists, you know, those that are from here, I've known since they were teenagers, like, you know, YB, Lil Ho, Jameer. I remember like Jameer, tall as hell, like in ninth grade, and I'm working in the schools at that time, and I'm like, man, this kid tall, and so like, I've known them for a long time, and the thing that I really appreciate is the work they're doing into their craftsmanship.
Yeah.
Because I think like you're part of this era too. I mean, I think you may be a little older than me, but there used to be like some whack rappers, right? You know what I'm saying? Where folks are just like literally like skill wise, lyrical wise, and you turn it on, the quality was terrible, and you'll be like, hey, there's some whack rappers, like, now I feel like the education of how to rap is more accessible. I think that people can learn how to make their own beats and stuff. They can purchase beats on YouTube, whatever the case.
Yeah.
There's more access to studios, right? And so I just feel like in the community, like I feel like the music quality as far as like sound and things of that nature has been getting better. Now, when it comes to like lyricism and stuff, like, I don't know too many new artists to like really judge that. I mean, I know Jameer is very lyrical. Me and him have done a song together. We talked about doing more songs together and stuff. And so like, I know he's a lyricist, and so music has just kind of changed too. So, those are kind of just my thoughts on like, the new generation.
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about it. Like most of like all that I was talking to someone else. I think I was talking to Freeze about it, and he was saying all that crappy music that people were putting out for so many years, just repeating the hook and all that stuff's kind of going away. It was never meant to last. It was like filler music. And so now like the real music is coming back. Like YB, he's a lyricist. Jameer, he's a lyricist. Jay Nichelle, she's a lyricist. Freeze, he's a lyricist. You know what I'm saying? But Freeze has been around since, back in the Kitsap County Uncut days. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And like, how do you feel it's changed? Because back then it was CDs. You know what I'm saying? Like you had your numbers and stuff, but you had CDs. And how do you feel how do you cope with dealing with the digital world?
I mean, it has its challenges for sure. Like I know some people that are getting really good at AI, and like I'm kind of basic with it. I know a thing or two more than other people, but like I know some people that are really like building some crazy stuff with AI, and I'm like, okay, yeah, y'all on another level. But as far as like I was in the era. When I started rapping, it was like 2006. I think I put out my first CD in 2008, and I was pushing them CDs on every corner, bro. I was back in Oklahoma City then, but I was like at 7-Elevens trying to sell my CDs for $5. I was at the rodeo, folks walking up, hey, I'm selling my CDs. I even been to downtown Seattle. I remember 2008, like I went downtown Seattle. Like me and my homie Connor, like we caught the ferry, and we didn't have money to get back, and I was like, hey, like we gotta hustle our way back. Like we all had to sell some CDs to get back across this ferry,
Yeah.
And I remember like vividly, I was down by Westlake, and I was playing my music on the boombox, and I had my CDs, and then folks was like coming by, and I was like, hey, yeah, they're buying the CDs and stuff. And then I got like a group of like 20 rappers. Like it was just kept attracting these rappers. They were coming through. So folks started freestyling on the beats and stuff. And then I remember one time we had like 20 rappers outside of Westlake Mall freestyling over my beats. And so like, it was just a whole different era, right?
Yeah.
I think the part that was a struggle for me was, adjusting quicker or seeing like the writing on the wall quicker where things were headed, because I think I could have been ahead of the game. I remember, YouTube back in like 2006. I remember this one artist I've done a couple tracks with. She was a singer, but she was on YouTube early, and she was putting out videos and stuff, but I never thought to like get there, or start putting stuff out. So obviously, it's changed a lot. I think social media has changed a lot. A lot of people are, hungry for content. Some people are like just trying to stay relevant, and they do goofy stuff, you know what I'm saying, on freaking social media to get attention and stuff. So it's changed a lot in that sense, because like, just in like my era, your era, like like you'll be seen as lame, like if you're doing like all this goofy stuff to get attention.
Exactly, because I'm a grown man. Wait, how old are you?
38.
Oh yeah, I am older than you. Oh, that's cool. Fine, whatever. We ain't got to talk about it no more. Anyways,
I think you said a few things that gave me some clues. I'm like, well, one is like, Doc, my guy Doc. I know you have been connected for a while, and so I think he's probably around Doc's age. I know Doc is older than me, and then it was something else you said with your era, and I was like, I think he got me by a few years. Yeah. I'm
43. Wait, hold on, think. Am I? No, I'm 42.
80s baby.
Yeah, 82. Baby. Somebody could do that math. I can't remember. I remember I was 37. When I was 37, I wasted my whole year thinking I was 38. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then they had to tell me how I was like, damn. You know what I'm saying? But I'm old. Like, I got to park in the same spot when I go shopping so I can find my car. Or else I come out there lost. You know what I'm saying? And so, let me ask you about this. How did you feel about seeing the Kitsap County rapper list? And the
rapper list? It was funny to me. Like, the funniest part was the reactions to it. I was just reading the comments, laughing ass off, bro. I was just like, dang. And then, so I left a couple comments on it. I was like, man, why y'all put me on this with some laughing faces and stuff?
Same, bro. I was upset. I was like, and they put me in the last one. I was like, I do not want to be on this list. Like,
I just knew, like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, okay, yeah, you asking for you starting fires here with this one, and for me, like, I was like number 5 on the list, and I was like, okay, this is obviously, I don't know who the guy is or what, but I was like, maybe he was around this era, like around 2013, 14, 15.
The Kitsap County Uncut era, right? Like that's all the artists that were on there. I was like, what the hell? Like, no one before, no one after.
We were doing a lot of shows at the Charleston around then too. Yeah. So I remember, David Olivas was doing shows, and stuff. And so I was like, maybe he's from that era. So anyways, and I was just thinking about it, and I was just like, who's this guy's opinion? Like, me being on like media and stuff and financial media, I get a lot of comments, and I get some racist, hateful comments sometimes too.
I bet. And
I just stopped even paying attention to the comments. So like, I was like, this is his opinion. Like, I'm not putting too much weight to it.
Yeah.
I mean, but the reactions to it was hella funny though.
It was. They was in there crying, bro, almost. Like, I'm just like, they're like, why are you saying something? You on the list? I'm like, bro, I don't want to be on the list. You know what I'm saying? Like, they made 2 of them. I like someone made a Chat GPT one, but that shows. I was just telling the rappers, I'm like, bro, that just shows you guys aren't making enough impact online, because they pulled up my old rap name that I had since like 1997 was on there. I said Macadoja 1. I was like, oh, I started getting big headed. Like, oh, y'all don't know about that. But it was crazy, bro. They was just all in their field, and I get it. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody wants to be the best. But how do you feel like rappers should try to support each other in the community, or should they just try to go get their own fans?
I think, I'm more aligned with the kind of like original intent of hip hop, which was community, fun, friendly competition. You know what I mean? Like, and really challenging each other to do better. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you go lose a battle or whatever, like, you need to be working on your game, and so like, and when I think about the 4 elements of hip hop, graffiti, DJing, MCing, breakdancing, like it was, it was all for like building community. And so that's kind of how I align with it. Like, so I'm always like showing artists love, even if like, I'm not really a fan of their music. Like, I'm still going to support them. Like, I know, like, putting the effort and the time and to improve your craft, At one point I was like super whack. I can't even find a song.
We all was. I got my first songs on a cassette tape. A Boyz II Men cassette tape that you can put the tape over the top of it. I don't know if you know about that. And I have a boombox. I played it for my kids. They're like, "You were terrible." I'm like, "I know, I was." You know what I'm saying? But at the time, I thought I was dope. You know what I'm saying? It takes time. It takes practice. And you see a lot of you've been around long enough, bro. I see a lot of rappers, especially doing interviews. They rap for about 7-8 months, and then they quit. And to me, I just look at them like, well, bro, you didn't really love the music. You love what comes with it. You know what I'm saying? Because as an artist, you never stop making your craft. That's just what it is. Like a painter never stops painting. A person likes to build cars never stops tinkering. You know what I'm saying? And if you make music, you're never going to stop making music. You might stop trying to be famous, but you're never going to stop making. Like you said, you have an whole album. Like I have a whole album I'm sitting on. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just sitting there, and I'm just like, I'm doing whatever with it.
Yeah,
Let me ask you this. You said you get a lot of racist comments with what you do, and I can kind of relate because I cover the news with Wes. So that's with that's VRIC Media, correct?
Yeah.
And what are some of the things they say to you?
I had someone say to my homie Jay Martin, he owns the channel, and I contract with him, but he was like, where did Jay find this dude? They need to send this dude back to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles.
I don't mean to laugh, but I do. Like,
I was like, wow. I was like, oh, okay, somebody talking like that. That's wild. I've seen the other ones, like folks like criticizing my intellect. This industry that I'm working in, it's predominantly older white male.
Yeah.
And I've had older white men come up to me and they're like, hey man, like I don't even bring race up, but they brought it up to me multiple times, right? And they're like, you know who you are, and you are a unique, voice and person in this community, and they were just kind of like, this could be a massive opportunity for you, and kind of breaking some of those barriers. And so I always kind of viewed it as like Jackie Robinson, when Jackie Robinson, broke the MLB, like I'm invested in a natural resource mining sector with geologists and all of this stuff, right? All this technical stuff. And they ain't really no black people in there. I mean, you do get some African folks. You do get, Indian folks who work on either the finance side and stuff. So there are other people of color, but like when you think of Black Americans, like it's very, very little.
Yeah, they don't that's not even like a concept in our brains at times. Because like when you sent it to me, I took a day or two to like look at it. I'm saying I was busy or whatever, but I watched it and I'm like, okay, you're talking about gold and minerals in the ground, and you know what I'm saying, and like that's a whole thing that like I didn't even think. I was like, damn, because the only time I think about that is when I watch that show Landman, because you know what I'm saying, they'd be like, okay, you own the land, but we own the minerals under the land. You know what I'm saying? And then that's how they can extract the oil out the ground. And so how did you link up with the guy doing that?
Yeah, so I mean, I started during COVID. My landlord, when I moved out, I was moving out of my house that I was renting, and she gave me the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, which by Robert Kiyosaki. And the book sold over, I think it's 20 or either 40 million copies, something like that, maybe even 80. But very well-known book in the investment industry. And so I picked that book up, and I actually got to meet him back in November. Him and I got a picture together, and then he was at our conference in January. But that book opened my eyes to like just finance, investing. Like I'm in the rat race, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm working, I'm trading my time for money, and typically, and the concept of the book is like really about like how do you buy yourself more time by making your money work for you, And so I read that book, and I went down this rabbit hole watching his YouTube channel, and he was bringing on these independent financial folks, and they would always talk about like macroeconomics. They would talk about gold. They would talk about natural resources, different things like that. So then I got into like macroeconomics, which is like, I study like the Federal Reserve, like what moves are they making, what policy implications of government can have on certain investment sectors, things like that. So I would study these kind of macroeconomics, and then I began to see like, all the stuff like we talk about, silver, copper, all that stuff make our lights turn on today. You know what I mean? Like we wouldn't be having this interview if we didn't have the rare earth magnets inside our computers or our screens to make them like touch screen and all that stuff. So like natural resources are a critical component to like our everyday life,
Yeah,
so,
I mean they're having issues with that now with the stuff going on in Iran because they have so many natural resources, like for example, the fertilizer. They're saying it's going to mess up our farming out here because a lot of it comes from over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of people don't realize that. We just, we expect we go to a store like, Fred Meyer or Lowe's and everything should just be there. But the people bringing it in are actually making all the money in the decisions.
Yeah, exactly. And so, that's how I got in that particular sector. Was like, well, first was like with gold, and it was like, studying the history of gold. There's a really good book called The Power of Gold. And it really talks about the history and how it became money, how it became a store of value, how it became, its scarcity and all of these other properties. And so when you think about it, like with 40 trillion in debt, the government keeps printing money. They're devaluing the dollar, by printing more money and making our dollars less valuable. And so gold has always been very scarce. You got to mine it out of the ground. You got to put sweat equity. You got to put finances. You got to get drillers, you got to get geologists, all the stuff to get it out of the ground, and then that value comes in a coin that you can't print, And so that's how I began like getting into this. Was like really understanding like what's happening in the global kind of scale or whatnot, and then also like how I can position myself to protect myself and protect my wealth.
Yeah. Now it seems like you've done a lot of studying, man. Like, and what's the link so people can find you there?
Yeah. They can go to VRIC Media on YouTube. It's also on Spotify. So V as in Victor, R as in Richard, I as in Isaac, C as in Carly Media, and you can find it on Spotify. I think it's on Apple Podcasts too, but and YouTube. And so they can find more stuff about that there.
Hell yeah. No, that's pretty dope. Like, I'm gonna start watching more of the videos. And then, is it easy for you to set up those interviews, or do you have to pay the people for it?
No, so there's one guest I interviewed today. She used to be an advisor to the Dallas Federal Reserve, and she has a makeup fee. And so, but I don't pay that. The company pays it. You know what I'm saying? So like, the company will be reimburse her and stuff, but she's like a big name, big author too. And so outside of that, everybody else is free. Like, I mean, they're trading. We're giving them something of value. We're giving them access to retail investors, like the average people. And then we're also giving them access to 85,000 subscribers. And then we've had relationships with them for a while. So they typically willing to come on, but I don't have to pay.
Nice. And it's weird, like, I'll talk to, like, I've interviewed a couple old rappers, like, shout out JT the Bigger Figure Technique, just to name a couple, and they all just showed me love, and RIP to Young Bleed. You know what I'm saying? They've done it free, but I've had some rappers, like, they'd be like, you're gonna have to pay me for an interview. I'm like, bro, I'm not paying you. The hell? Like even newer rappers, like, this was back in the day. Nowadays, like, I don't really. Nah, I mean, if I like, like, I've known you for years, bro. Like, we've worked together, done stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, cool, let's get you on here because I see what you're doing. I've always respected you as a person. But like some rappers, bro, I'm like, nah, bro, I'm not giving you a nickel to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, because for me, I just do this for fun. Like, you started doing yours during COVID, and I started doing this during COVID because I was too old, bro. I'm like, I can't just keep rapping in the streets with the youngsters, like.
Yeah.
You know, trying to be a hot nigga and shit. I'm like, nah, bro, I got gray hair. It's about to be a grandfather.
You seen that skit with Drewski with the old
with the old dude? He's still in the streets. Yeah.
It was spot
It'd be like that though, bro. I'm not gonna say no names, but there's dudes out here still running around. I'm like, bro, you're grown. You got grandkids. Like, what is you out here throwing up gang signs? Your arthritis about to kick in. Stop. Stop. You gonna hit? Well, I'm just a big crippin' on my life, you know what I'm saying? So I want to ask you one more question really quick. There's the hip hop Kids at or the Bremerton Hip Hop Music Festival. Have you sent your music in?
No, I have not. I have not sent my music in. But I do have a reason for that. Like, I've been like the last 2 years have been hard for me to be super like motivated doing music, and so I didn't perform for a while. Jameer hit me up. I think the last time I performed, me and Jameer were performing our song in the Armed Forces Day Parade last year. So that was in May of last year. We were walking through Bremerton, performing a song. Everybody's waiting on the side. We got the bands and everybody with us. But it wasn't like they produced, or played our song. We had our own Bluetooth speaker, and so we were doing that with Tommy Story Hour, which is
I know Tommy. Shout out Tommy.
Yeah, shout out Tommy. We got to show him some love in here. I've known him since he was, 16, 17, and I went and performed at the Arc. I knew he had he had some needs and stuff, and then he was like, hey, I want you to perform with the Armed Forces. I even went and performed at their little, not their little, but their event is significant. Their event that they do over there close to Rocky Point. Yeah. So he plugged me with that. So even like this year, like he was like, hey, I want you to perform and stuff. And I was just like, man, I can't do it. I'm not, in a good space. So a lot of that was due to one, just, I started making money doing the podcast. Like it was like, okay, this rap stuff, it ain't paying bills. You know what I mean? Like I'm making more money doing my podcasting. And then two, it was like, I didn't have a whole lot of time. I got other stuff. I like to read. I like to study. I like to, I started Brazilian jiu-jitsu recently. You know what I'm saying? So I got other stuff I'm doing, so I didn't have a whole lot of time. And then my sister passed back in March.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Man, appreciate that, man. And so all that at the time, I was like, I can't do it,
It's crazy how the older we get, right? It's like we want to do music, bro, but our lives just kind of pull you further away from it. And it kind of makes it like, cause like in my head, it's like, I'll be upset and I'll be like, well, let me try to write something. And that first song I make, it's just the worst thing I could ever think of in my mind, right? Cause I'm just like angry and all this anger and stuff. And it's just weird how like, it was like you said, like you guys have 89,000 or was it 89,000 subscribers on your page?
85K. Yeah.
85. Yeah. See, I got I'm doing the news with Wes. Shout out to homie Wes. We got 29,000 in 2 years. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, everything was on the back burner. Like I wasn't even doing this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I was so busy focused on that and trying to get my life together. And so it's just crazy how like to stick through it and to come back to it. It makes sense. Like I get why people stop doing things. You know what I'm saying? The older I get, because you just don't have the time for it. Like you want to fit it in, but you can't.
Yeah, it becomes a, what's the value proposition,
Yeah.
I think for me right now, the value proposition is like, I just started going to counseling for the first time,
Congratulations.
Like, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
I used to just hold a lot of stuff in and just try to carry the weight. And music was like therapeutic too. So I'm like,
it is.
I got some things I need to say. I got some things on my heart. I have some significant events in my life. And I want to share that with the people, and my fans who are still there. And so, so like when that came out, I honestly wasn't really aware of it as much. Like I haven't been I'm not on Facebook like that. Also,
you looked happy on the stage. I could see it in your face. I was like, I could see it in your face. I'm like, man, he ain't performed in a while. So you was out there like, you look at peace. Yeah. I was like, okay. Yeah.
It was but like I'm mostly on X. Like that's my platform. IG, I'm on IG a little bit too, but I'm mostly on X. But so like Jameer invited me to that event. That was my first time performing in like close to a year. Outside of a Juneteenth event I did at my job like last year. And then I got invited to do this 4th of July event from a friend of mine. He wanted me to perform, and so I told him I'd do it. So I had to dust off all the tracks and like let me get my set together. And so I'm just getting back into it. So I didn't. Long story short, I'm not on Facebook like that, so I didn't know what was going on. I'm not following everybody's posts and stuff, and I don't see most of everybody's posts. I got people from all over the world on my Facebook, so I see a bunch of different stuff. And so like I just didn't catch it until I saw like a few comments of like the Bremerton Music Fest.
Were you on X before when it was Twitter?
No, I wasn't
really. Twitter, see, the X is like the worst version of Twitter. Because I was on Twitter back in 2012, right? And I mean, it was the wild, wild west on there. Like you'd just be scrolling and some dudes like, all right, everybody, I'm gonna show you how to make crack. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he start cooking, and Twitter was cool with it. Like, It was just the craziest place you could be, but you could actually blow up on there. But now since Elon Musk owns it, you know, everybody that's a blue check mark, they paid for it. Like before, when you used to get that, you knew somebody got that, you'd be like, yo, you earned that, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if you went viral on Twitter, like you could become a star. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, X, I still use X because I get my news from there.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
X is really good, but like to the blue check mark, you know, point, like, I mean, they just found out how to monetize it. Like, oh yeah, you get the blue check mark, you don't get ads, right? You know, otherwise, otherwise you see an ads, we ain't gonna push your post in front of everybody, like, you know. So like they learn how to monopolize it, you know.
Well, yeah, Elon Musk bought it, and then he realized they were losing money every year. But Twitter was it was used so much by everybody. It was like they didn't care. Because, like, I mean, I would see things on Twitter, which X now, right? And then you turn on the news, and 10 minutes later, they'd be like breaking news. You know what I'm saying? Because everything flows through there, which it still kind of does. You know what I'm saying? So it's hella nice. Yeah. And so
I didn't see it. I mean, the Bremerton music post like that. So I don't even know who put it on. Is it if I'm correct? Was it Rob put it on or somebody else?
Yeah, Rob's putting it on. Doc is attached to it, and
Rob and Doc.
Yeah, it's gonna be on Quincy Square in August, and so they're telling everybody to send your music in, artists. It's been a little controversy about that because some artists, you know, wanted to be on it, and some are, you know, it's whatever. But at the end of the day, they've never done anything like this for the city at all. You know what I'm saying? So it's a good thing.
What's the controversy? Like, what's the problem?
Well, some artists were upset they weren't asked to be on the show, on the bill, but he asked people to be on the bill. It just wasn't flashy enough in my eyes to them. You know what I'm saying? He was like, hey, I'm trying to work. Who are the new artists? People were tagged in it. And so some artists aren't sending their music in. Some artists aren't getting their music cleaned up to have it played because they're like, even if you aren't on the bill, they're like, we still want to have the DJ play your music in between the sets, which is still love. You know what I'm saying? And so some people feel like they should be on the show. Some feel like they shouldn't. But I mean, they'll be next year and they'll still play your music. So
and like, just to comment real quick, I mean, and no disrespect to like those who feel a certain way, but you know, at the same time, it's like, you know, we can't feel entitled, you know, I mean, this is somebody else's vision, you know, and so whoever they pick and choose, that's gonna be them. Like, what I would say is like, go put your own music fest together, like, you know, if it's that big of a problem, you know. And so I just think, like, instead of like complaining about stuff, like there's things we can do within our control and within our power. Like, go and be a competitor and do your own. Maybe you bring a bigger crowd and you put the artist that you want on or whatever. But like, for me, I don't really got the time or anything like that to be, you know, tripping about that, you know.
Yeah, or the energy. No, I feel you.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I got other things going on, bro. Like, I just lost, like, what Big Pun say? I just lost 20 pounds. I'm trying to win. Like, don't worry about my health. Yo, man, Darrell, I appreciate you coming on to my show, man. Where can everybody find you at if they want to connect with you?
Yeah, so obviously Facebook, Darrell Dominic, Darrell Dominic. You can find me there. On YouTube, you can find me under Darrell Dominic, same thing, Spotify, you know, all the other platforms. And then if you're interested in the finance stuff, you can look me up at V as in Victor, R as in Roger, I as in Isaac, C as in Charlie, media.com. So vricmedia.com. Not .com, but on YouTube and Spotify and such. And then I also have another podcast, The Money Level Show, which is similar content to VRIC, but they can find me there.
Yeah, I remember you and Darrell were doing a podcast back. We were
doing we started one with called Elephant in the Room. That was like 2014. I actually just went and saw him the other day. He was preaching at Mount Zion, and so I remember we started that.
I like podcasting, bro. I like podcasting, bro. It's so much easier than rapping. I mean, rapping is cool and stuff, but like podcasts, I'm looking at that. You getting like thousands of views on people watching like an hour of you talking, like, because it's informative and stuff. Like, I love it. And I ain't gotta fucking get up there sweaty. I ain't gotta rap with MC Rob you in the parking lot. Like, it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. You want to send any shout outs before I let you go?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna say shout out to just everybody on your grind, trying to make it work through this, you know, turbulent times and issues of affordability and all of that, you know. So I wish everybody prosperity in good health. Hit the gym, and be sure to tap in with me if you want to learn about the financial tip. Happy to have some conversations there. I don't sell scams. There's no Susu scams. There's no crypto scams. None of that. I'm gonna teach you how to fish and give you the skills so you can learn how to move in the market yourself. So I'm sure that.
Hell yeah. And that information you're giving out is highly important. You know what I'm saying? After going through it, I commend you, brother, like for what you do and what you've been doing. Like you're giving information to the people that they're going to need it. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm gonna try to get you back on the show a bit later on. Is that cool?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, for sure. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Nightly Strange, Darrell Dom in the building. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you.
Y'all.
You're welcome to the Nightly Strange.
Thanks, God.